Hi everybody, Dominic here, and in today's video we're going to do something fun and we're going to guess at who we think will live and who we think will die in the upcoming 7th season of Game of Thrones. Now, this is all conjecture and speculation, okay? I'm not basing these guesses off of anything concrete other than where I think the current story threads may end up based on the narrative as it stands. I've been pretty much avoiding all of the leaks concerning Season 7 and even those concerning the Winds of Winter, so if you think my guesses are way off based off of something that you've seen or something that you've read, that's likely why, but please do respect the armistice in place here and tag any spoilery comments with a big fat spoiler warning. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through all of what I would consider to be the main characters in this story in alphabetical order and see which of those I reckon are living on borrowed time. Oh, and if I leave anybody out that you would consider a main character, then I do apologise. I'm sure we can discuss those in the comments. Okay, let's do this thing. First up, we have everybody's favourite plucky little assassin, Arya Stark. Now, Arya has been dancing with death for pretty much most of the show now, and I believe she came as close as she was ever going to come last season in her run-in with the Waif. Now, previously I've actually gone on record to say that I thought Arya was going to die in Season 7, but I've since had a change of heart. Now, I think that given her near-death experience last year and the fact that she does still have some unresolved plot threads to take care of, Arya will in fact needle her way through Season 7. Another safe Stark in my opinion is Bran. Bran is just too important to the overarching story at the moment. The show has spent 6 years turning him into a time-travelling sage who has the potential to blow open huge mysteries within the world of Westeros, and he's definitely somehow connected to the potential second war for the Dawn. It would be a monumental waste to see him killed off. Bran is safe. I'm worried for Brienne, guys, I really am. While I'd love to see this character survive the entire show run, her nobility and sense of honour may actually, like characters before her, lead to her downfall. As she does have a Valyrian steel sword, she more than likely still has some significant part to play in the narrative, but I'm still going to go out on a limb here and say that I think Brienne may die this season. Aww. Bronn of the Blackwater. I don't know if he has a last name or not, so I'm just going to call him of the Blackwater. Now, normally I'd say a character like Bronn would survive the entire show run due to him being a survivor by nature. I mean, we've seen him raise himself up from a common sellsword to a Knight of the Realm through sheer battle prowess. However, with Tyrion returning to Westeros and Cersei being quite mad, I foresee a scenario in which Bronn is either made an example of or maybe even has a character arc that sees him sacrifice himself for the well-being of his old friend. I'm going to say that Bronn will die. Aww. Speaking of Cersei being quite mad, I think it would be quite mad to underestimate her. I think we can all agree that her reign as Queen of Westeros is going to be nothing short of a disaster, but this is a woman who seems quite content to go down if it means taking her enemies down with her. Cersei is going to cause havoc in Season 7, and without her children to mellow her out, I can see this being a bloodbath. However, the might of both the North and an invading Targaryen army with 3 dragons will prove to be too much for even the Mad Queen. Cersei will die this season. Aww. Speaking of dragons, we have the last of the Targaryens. I do believe that Dany will be in for a shock when she gets to Westeros and that things won't be nearly as easy as they might seem, but with Tyrion giving her counsel and an alliance with Dawn, I think it's safe to assume that she'll weather the storm. I do see there being a significant assassination attempt on her life, and I do see one of her dragons biting the dust, but I just can't see her dying. Dany will live. I think that Davos will live. He is a very loyal and honourable character, but not to a fault. Davos is perceptive and his counsel often proves to be vital. I think he may have a run-in with Littlefinger that could prove dangerous, as he's shown that he has a natural distrust of shady people, but at the end of the day, I think he'll pull through. I think the majority of the Sand Snakes will survive, but I don't see Ellaria making it. I believe that although her ascent to Princess of Dawn is nothing short of impressive, the woman has a tendency to overreach, and that will see her undone. I see her fancying herself against the cunning of Cersei and ultimately coming unstuck. Ellaria Sand will die. Aww. The Euron Greyjoy of the show is so weirdly different than the one seen in the books that I can't quite work out exactly how he fits into the overall narrative. Whereas in the books he seems intrinsic to the story, in the show he seems like an afterthought. There hasn't really been any setup for what he might bring, and as such I can't really guess as to what they might do with him. I'm guessing he'll die simply because the show is running out of time and there isn't enough to cater for his character. Aww. Yeah, I think Grey Worm is going to die. I think his death will be awesome, and I think it will lead to a significant character moment for Missandei, but gun to my head, I'd say he's done for this season. Aww. Now this is a tricky one because you never really know what Jaime Lannister is going to do. For those of you who don't know, Jaime is actually my favourite character in the books, not because of the incestuous attempted child murdery things that he does, but because of how he is written. He has a lot of internal conflict that doesn't necessarily always come across in the show due to the nature of the medium, but it makes for a realistically unpredictable character. Jaime is on a redemption arc that many of us guess will end with his killing Cersei, but despite his best intentions, due to the fact that he has done some truly despicable things, I don't see Jaime going the distance, but I do see him surviving this season at least. Jaime will live. This is pretty cut and dry. Jon Snow isn't going anywhere. It would be redundant to kill him off again and nobody would buy it. I mean, we didn't buy it the first time. Jon Snow is quite clearly the main character of this saga alongside Dany and arguably Tyrion. He's been at the heart of nearly all the great battle scenes in Westeros and will continue to do so as he comes to fulfill his true potential. Jon lives. This is a good one because Jorah Mormont is actually dying. I don't know that we'll see that much of him in season 7. If anything, I can see him making a grand return to things either at the very end of the season or in season 8. I don't think Jorah will die despite his circumstances, not yet anyway. Nothing can kill Lady Lyanna Mormont. Meera Reed is another interesting one, as although she has no real bearing on the plot other than to keep Bran company, there are some interesting theories surrounding her birth that, while I doubt will come into play in the show, suggest that she is at least of greater importance than her current standing might suggest. She's pretty much Bran's only confidant, and I doubt the show will rip her away from him. I see Meera surviving. Another difficult one to predict is Melisandre. While the Red Woman has indeed been expelled from the North by Jon, her fight against the Great Other is far from over. Melisandre is integral to the upcoming war against the White Walkers, and although she may be out of favour with the new king in the North, I don't see her rolling over and dying anytime soon. For some reason I have this image in my head of Missandei being overcome with grief and doing something stupid that will end up in her getting killed. I don't know if it's just because I think Grey Worm is likely to die, or maybe it's something else to do with Daenerys, but for some reason I can't really explain, I see Missandei dying this season, if only to galvanise her queen. Aww. I think this is finally the year in which all of Littlefinger's schemes and machinations catch up with him. He has spent the past 6 years and beyond weaving an intricate web of lies and political manoeuvring, but I think he will go a step too far in season 7 and all of his hard work will come undone. It's far from a sure thing, as it would be foolish to underestimate Baelish, but I'm going to say that I think Peter will die this season. Aww. I'm pretty sure Samwell will survive season 7. He's pretty out of the way of any immediate danger, seeing as he's gone to Old Town to study up on the White Walkers. There is a subplot in the books that involves the Faceless Men that we could possibly see adapted this season, and that could endanger Sam and Gilly somewhat if they get caught up in it, but even so I see Sam surviving this one. Gilly on the other hand, maybe not, but Sam should be okay. The Hound feels like he has something to do and he's not going to die until it's done. Whether it's the Clegane Bowl that everybody wants to happen so damn badly, or it's something more subtle and nuanced. Sandor Clegane is a man on a mission. I just don't know what that mission is, and neither does he by the looks of it, but either way I'd say the Hound will survive season 7. A reunion with Arya could prove fatal for him, but I see him making it regardless. I've long thought that Sansa wasn't long for this world, but every season she goes on to surprise me. I recently made a video about how she could fulfill the Lady Stoneheart role, but even if that is wish fulfillment, I still think there's a chance that she will die anyway. But then I'm sure we've all noticed the theme of strong women rising up to become the dominant force in Westeros, and Sansa looks set to be another of those strong women. She's a difficult one for me, but putting wish fulfillment aside and the Lady Stoneheart thing just to the left for a minute, taking a look at the evidence, I'm going to say that I think Sansa will survive this one. I don't hold out much hope for the Greyjoy formerly known as Reek. I think Theon's redemption arc will undoubtedly end with his demise, and I think his sacrifice will be significant. Either that or Arya will spot him and kill him without a second's thought. Now that would be rough. Either way, I'm going to say that Theon will leave us this season. Aww. Come on now, Tyrion isn't going to die. He'll probably go through some serious turmoil and have a few more character defining moments, but he isn't going anywhere. I don't know what will happen to him once he and Daenerys reach Westeros, but I really cannot wait to find out. Tyrion lives. And lastly, we have Varys. Varys is so cunning and clever that it's very difficult to see him coming unstuck against anybody save Littlefinger. Peter Baelish could indeed be Varys' bane, but even so, I wouldn't bet against the spider. I see Varys seeing this one out quite comfortably. And that's it for the video. What do you guys think? If you disagree, then be sure to comment down below and let me know who you think is going to live or die. Remember, this is all just conjecture and I've been avoiding any and all potential spoilers, so this is based on nothing but my interpretation of events. I'm by no means an authority. Like you guys and girls, I'm just a fan having a go. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure to hit that like button down below to show some support for the channel, and subscribe for more Game of Thrones videos, as well as a whole host of other nerd content. I've been Dominic, and I'll see you again soon.